Okay, why are you not picking up the feed? What's going on? Why are you? Can you hear me, folks? I don't think you can. This is live. Let's try refreshing that. Oh, you can hear me. Excellent. I was looking at an error message on my screen, but we're here. Crazy, crazy, crazy times. How many of you came to the year 12 session that I just did? Give me a yes or a no to that. I am going to be repeating myself just a little bit this time and this time only, just so that everybody watching this video knows where to begin. Okay, so I'm going to have a very similar structure. I was just frantically like mapping out the A-level course, so I didn't have to, I could go a bit quicker with you guys. I will also take any sort of general questions you might have. Lots of the question answers will be, I don't know. If you're asking about some of the things we just don't have information on, save those questions about process and what's going on in the general situation to the end. Don't worry about missing the 10 a.m. today. 10 a.m. session is going to be AS content. I'm focusing that at year 12. So kind of first principles teaching, going and covering things for the first time. You're welcome to join as year 13 students, but in those sessions, I'm going to have year 12s in my head when I'm delivering them. And in these sessions, I'm going to have you guys in my head whilst I'm delivering them. Okay, so we are going to be on YouTube every day for this foreseeable future until something else crazy changes. 10 a.m. for the AS session, 11 a.m. for the A-level session. I am going to show you how you can enroll in the study at home Exambulance for biology. It's hot off the press and still not totally finished, but we're going to just let you guys get in there. We're going to be making tweaks and changes to it over the next sort of days and weeks. It's going to give you some structure about, being able to continue some study at home whilst you're in lockdown, basically isolation. The other things obviously you might want to be concerned about is that if the grade that you get given based upon all the factors that are taken into consideration isn't the grade that you want, then your means of redress, your appeal option is to do the exam. The gap you're going to have between getting your grade and doing your exam is going to be probably something in the region of 5 weeks. So 5 weeks is not going to be enough to comprehensively revise and then get the grade that you want to go to get above the grade that you were disappointed with. So how many, I'm just going to straw poll in the chat here. Let's go back a week. Let's rewind a full week and go back to before any of the school closures and exam cancellations were announced. How many of you would have liked more time? How many of you thought the exams are too soon? I'm not ready enough yet. I haven't yet got enough. I haven't learned enough. I haven't done enough past papers. How many of you thought that way? I'm just going to get a like. You don't have, especially for biology, because there's so much content. Okay, so now there will be an exam that you can take, the 2020 exams. It's going to be in September, more than likely. We don't have categoric proof. I can't see of any other time that it's going to happen than September. So you basically have your wish. You can, if you choose to, continue to smash this content, and then no matter what grade they give you, it's an opportunity to go up a grade, even on top of the grade that you were probably going to get if you were going to do the exam. Maybe your teacher doesn't have that much faith in you, or maybe your previous GCSE and mock results and AS results were not that great, but you feel like if that ball is still in your court, you will have the opportunity to do the exam, and you now have more time to prepare for it. It will be difficult to stay motivated. It's going to be difficult to keep on track, but we're going to try to help those of you that want to, really push for those, you need to get your A's and A stars for your medicine degree or whatever that is that you want to get into. Then we're going to be here to try and help support you with that. So Obviously, our full courses, that full subscriptions are still going to be there. We're going to be doing an hour a day or 45-minute action hour each day, one for AS, one for A-level per subject. So we're going to be here to support you, or those students who basically don't have much decent support right now. But if you do want to really charge for that exam, then the course is going to be the place to really support you with that. You've got all the entire specification, AS content, A-level content, all in 10-minute videos. You can ask me questions, I get back to you, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not here to go through that, but like if that's your plan, don't forget the courses still exist. I'm going to take general questions about like the general process at the end. And right now I'm going to focus on the A-level content that, in fact, let me show you how to get into the Exambulance. First of all, I'm using a different microphone. That's probably why. I'm also in a different space. I'm not in my studio. It's a massive open plan room, so it's going to sound pretty different. It's going to be quite echoey. It's going to be, yeah, the sound quality isn't amazing. I am currently in self-isolation, so I'm renting a friend's house. Okay, the Exambulance, great question. What is the Exambulance? Exambulance was the course that we were preparing for students to help prepare for their exams. But what it is now, it's the study at home. Basically, it's going to give your studying at home structure. We've based it around 1 hour per day per subject. You can do more if you want to, but I mean, we think that it's probably unrealistic to expect you to do a full-time work schedule. But I think 1 hour per subject per day. And if you wanted to do Monday, just do 5 hours of biology and then like forget biology for the week and then just do 3 days a week like that. You do your 3 subjects, doing biology on one day. It's totally flexible. It's for you to do as you want. Plus I'm going to be here on YouTube at 11 a.m. every day, Monday to Friday, to do an action hour. Today, I'm not going to really cover any content. I'm not going to teach you anything today. The rest of the sessions, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to show you the schedule. If you want to do more than 1 hour per day, that's totally cool as well. We're going to try to make a one-size-fits-all plan in a situation where no one's ever been in before. Okay, so if you finish the biology content, okay, let me just straw poll. How many of you do you think at this point would like to or are planning to take the exam? I'm going to call it September. As I said, we don't know for sure. That's the time. They've said autumn, but in my opinion, again, if they let you sit that exam, that's a 2020 exam. You must be able to start university this year. Without, universities may be delayed, who knows? But I think in general, they're going to want that exam as soon as they can so that they can mark them, they give you your grade, and so universities can let you in. I mean, it's going to be chaos, but I mean, obviously, if the grade that you get given is not one you're happy with, your only means of redress is going to be that exam. So keeping your hand in is going to be really important. Yeah, and I mean, it's an opportunity to work super hard. If you really want to push for that extra grade, if you really need to stretch yourself in biology to get that grade, to get into your dream first choice, then it's a good opportunity. You've got more time now. You can do better in that exam. Also, I don't know how they're going to grade boundary that exam, but I imagine lots of people are not going to do as much work as they would have done if they were in full-time education, and therefore maybe the grade boundaries will be super low. I don't know how they're going to quantify it, and I'm glad that's not my problem, but it's possible. Obviously, they couldn't make the grade boundaries. The grade boundaries are going to reflect the cohort who sit the exam, always do. So if it's a difficult exam, the grade boundaries shunt down. If it's an easy exam, the grade boundaries go higher. So the distribution of grades is always approximately the same. This year, there might be some weirdness, obviously. There's lots of weird things happening. Okay, do you want me to show you how to get into the Exambulance first of all? Some of you may have seen the live that I just did and you may know already, but I'm going to share my screen and just show you. This is the Tailored Tutors website. I've got a bazillion tabs open, please forgive that. So tailoredtutors.co.uk, it's pretty easy to find here. We've just chuck this on there like an hour ago. You can obviously see the biology button here, and that will take you, and you have to just like, it's free. You can just go into it, fill in the forms. You've just got to let us know like what year you're in and stuff like that. We just need to know in terms of sorting you out. But you do get asked whether you want to opt into, I don't know what the wording is, the part of the GDPR regulations, whether marketing emails. Basically, I'd recommend it. We're not going to email you a whole ton, but for like, there's going to be lots of updates. There's going to be lots of changes. There's going to be lots of information coming from us. You're welcome to delete the emails and ignore them. You're not going to get spammed every email every day, but I would just say yes, I'd opt into those marketing emails, because if you say no, and we're releasing like more free stuff or more crazy updates or more announcements from the government, then we can't email you if you say no to that. So just something to think about. Once you're inside that course, this is actually, I was demonstrating, let's go to the A-level study schedule. This is what it looks like when you get on the inside. So I've produced this study schedule for today, and I've proposed some topics in here that we are going to sort of look at. And I'm going to talk you through sort of the plan between now and that September exam. So we're going to take the mindset that obviously we're going to support students who, some of those, many students, thousands of students will be sitting that exam, and maybe you're going to be one of them. Obviously, if you decide just to do nothing, I put a poll out on our YouTube community earlier today. How many hours per day are you planning to do per subject, or per week, sorry. Some people said none, totally fine, obviously, but you are then just, will have to accept that grade that you get given, because if you do no work between now and the end of July, when you get given that grade, if you want to sit the exam, you are probably not, you'll have forgotten it all, basically, or a lot of it. You won't be in peak performance at that point. So the year 13 A-level strategy. So we've got three phases here. So properly finish the A-level content, making sure that you've actually got your A-level content finished. At least you've covered everything once. That's the first bit here. So the green bits here are like delivering content. And I propose some topics. I'm going to get some feedback from you on that. Blue is going to be keeping your sword sharp. So basically going through past papers using the TT revision method, so that if you do have to do that exam, you're going to be well trained in terms of exam technique, and your content is going to be that TT revision method is going to spiral back through all the AS and all the A-level contents, all the skills, all the apparatus techniques, the maths and the stats. You're going to get tested on all of it in such a way that you are always working on your weak spots, basically. And then there's also some extra revision down here if you are going to like ramp up, and after you've given your grade at the end of July, basically, then we'll know, and then you can like really kick into gear if you are going to do that exam. And then basically instead of having your exams in May, June, you're going to have your exam probably August, September. So again, there's still lots of dates and stuff that we don't have yet. So that's the schedule. This is liable to change. Just so that you know, I'm going to update things on this pretty regularly. There's all sorts of information in here about the TT revision method. Obviously, the first 2 weeks, this week and next week, I'm going to go through content with you at 11 o'clock for 45 minutes. Power hour, action hour, covering these topics. These are the ones that I've proposed, but I'm going to get some feedback from you. Basically, the purpose of today's session is just to get some feedback from you on which topics you really want me to go through, so that our time is most effective. Content I'm going to be covering for is AQA. AQA only have one version of the spec. We've got OCR, the OCR A, which is 99% of OCR students do the OCR A spec, and the EdXL A, which is sometimes called the Salters-Nuffield, or sometimes called the SNAB, the SNAB. So they're the ones I'm covering. It will be of high value to anyone doing any other exam boards as well, but these are the ones that our courses cover, and it's the ones that I know. And that's going to cover, I think, more than 90% of all A-level biology students in the UK. So it's good coverage in terms of all of that. Don't worry too much about these just yet. They will be useful later on. These are the marks I drop sheets, and we're going to go through with you how to use them and the TT revision method and what it is and how to use it coming up pretty soon. Okay, so any questions before I sort of delve into things? I'm going to sort of go through some of the topics that that are in the A level. I'm going to go through the common topics to all those exam boards, the sort of the core, and I'm going to pick out the things that that you most need the help with, so I can focus on those and maybe change that schedule a little bit. General questions about exams cancelling and stuff like that, I'll take at the end. Sarah, yeah, we're gonna. I finished this 20 minutes before I started my AS live stream, so I haven't bundled it in. I'm going to add it to any subscriber who has a content guide, exam guide, or ultimate guide subscription with us. And this is just going to be added to your account. You don't even have to register. You don't have to sign up to it. It will just give me a couple of hours before I can finish that. The students will definitely have an opportunity to take an exam. We don't know when. They said autumn. We're assuming September, but that is an assumption. But I'm going to take all those kinds of questions about A levels and cancellations and stuff like that. I want questions about the Exambulance and how you might want to use it right now. I'll take all your general questions at the end. There's no, okay, so the difference between the content guide and the exam guide. Content guide is all of my videos that cover the entire specification, AQA, OCR, and Excel. There's 3 different courses, 6 to 10 minute videos that teach you everything in the spec, all the practicals, the maths, the stats, every single lesson, as concisely and as quickly as possible. You can ask me questions on any of those lessons. If you get stuck, I become basically your personal tutor. So all that content's still in the content guide. The Exambulance is a framework. It's a structure, which we're going to supplement with free live classes on YouTube for 45 minutes a day to help out where we can with those students who've got schools who don't know what to do, or don't know how to teach online, all that kind of stuff. So you don't get any, like the Exambulance doesn't contain any of our content guide videos. We might make some previewable and share them with the courses as we move through. We're making it up as we go along. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have any idea of how this is where this might end up in 3, 4, 5 weeks time. Where this is the plan as it stands. We just want to be as helpful as we can. Yeah, the Exambulance basically is giving you the TT revision method in a slightly more structured way. To use the exam, yeah. So the Exambulance, the live classes are going to use the Exambulance, the study at home Exambulance, to give you a structure, to give you something to follow, so that you can keep on top, basically. And if we've pitched it about 1 hour per subject per day, or 5 hours per subject per week. If you want to do more, if you know you're going to be doing that exam, then you might want to be doing more than that. And obviously the content guide and exam guide is there to hold your hand and support you with all of that. It's like the perfect tool for that. But I want these sessions, I want it to be useful enough on its own for those students who just want to use the free materials. Yeah, we're not going to do them. We're just going to do them on YouTube. It gets really tricky with it. We have a Zoom chat going, we have the YouTube chat going. We're just going to do them on YouTube for the time being. There probably will be some additional Zoom classes for our paid subscribers, smaller groups and much more interactive type stuff. Again, no plans right now. Yeah, there's going to be 15-minute break between sessions. I'm going to try my best to we're going to do 11 till 11:45 action hour, probably with a timer on screen. And then we're going to do, 10 till 10:45 and then 11 till 11:45. So we're going to have a 15-minute break. You're then going to have a 4 hours break before you start the next subject, if you are doing the next subject. So we're going to basically be on YouTube live more or less all day. Biology for 2 hours in the morning, then maths, and then chemistry. There's also a study with me, 4 till 5 p.m. with Ronnie. So Ronnie's going to be hosting a study with me. So you can do that any subject, any A level. You can come and join for an action hour with Ronnie and just sit down and just work with everyone else. You can just work on together, basically, but on your own project. All the recordings will remain on YouTube. We're going to build a biology year 12 playlist and a biology year 13 playlist. So they are going to be built on YouTube. So this, I guess, will be video number 1. Well, so many questions. Okay, so let's now. I basically want to find out which topics. I'm going to do this in a different way to the way I'm going to maybe save that screen. So which topics? In fact, AQA students first. Just it's going to be way easier for me to break this down. AQA students only right now. Which topics were you working on when you quit school, basically? So just give me just AQA students. I'm going to cycle through all the exam boards. So do these in green. Go fair. So I've got kidney gene expression. Homeostasis. Muscles. Gene tech. Nerves and synapses. We're working on the essays. Muscles, a bit of evolution. A little bit more of a range than I was expecting, to be honest. Recombinant, so lots of gene tech, basically. Some classification. Classification is year 1 content, but some essays. Obviously, essays unique to AQA. So okay, so OCR students. I think I've got a good picture of that. OCR students only. Just OCR. Everyone else can just pipe down in the chat for just 3 seconds here. Okay, so OCR, what were you working on, what haven't you completed yet? Ecosystems. Yeah, end of the spec, plant responses. Inheritance. Manipulating genomes, so gene tech. Cloning and biotech, yeah. Okay, so at the end of the spec. More inheritance, pattern of inheritance, animal responses. Okay. Okay, let's do Edexcel. So I've got a decent picture of that from OCR students. Edexcel students, again, only Edexcel students, just let me know which topics you either haven't done or were working on when you had the plug pulled from you. Do we have any? I was like, not that is so. There's really very few Edexcel students in the country. I have to forget how many entrants. I think there's maybe 5,000 Edexcel. Maybe there's a few more than 5,000 Edexcel entrants in the whole country. Brian, so you're Edexcel, I take it. Okay, photosynthesis and immune response. Lots of immune stuff. I'm going to do some lives on the coronavirus and link it to the A-level biology spec. Okay. There's a couple of, if you are not AQA, OCR, Edexcel, let me know your exam board in the chat, just so that I can get a picture of who are the people we have here. Now I've got AQA, I've got OCR, I've got so WJ, Educast, which is the WJ spec. This will still be pretty relevant to you, the stuff I'm going to be doing. Most of the core content is core to all the exam boards, so I wouldn't stress too much. WeJect, okay. Okay, sweet. That gives me a bit of a picture. There's not really anyone doing CIE or any of the IALs. Okay. Which topics would you most like me to cover? And you're going to just have to do this in, in fact, I'm going to ignore that question for the time being, because you're going to, that thread is going to go wild and I'm not going to be able to write them all down. Okay. Actually, I might just be able to take some screenshots as the chat rolls past. Okay. I'm going to see if there's any common themes in there. Lots of genetics, variation, gene tech. Topics, basically the final topics in the module, cloning biotech. That's OCR only, so I'm probably not going to go too much into detail on that. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me share my screen. And there's definitely lots of core themes in there. I think I've pretty much predicted exactly what you have said fairly well. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so on this here page, I wonder if I can make this a little bit bigger. I can zoom in a little bit. It doesn't like, what I could just do is pull up the actual PDF. I think it's going to be way cleaner if I just pull up the PDF. A-level schedule, okay. Way better. Okay, let me share this. And it means I can see the chat at the same time, which is great. Okay, so I proposed starting tomorrow with delivering some content, inheritance, getting down and doing, I'm actually doing meiosis in the AS session, which underpins all of the inheritance. If you don't understand meiosis really well, it's all of the linkage and stuff is basically impossible to get your head around. So if inheritance is a problem topic, 9 times out of 10, it's your meiosis and understanding of what's happening to the chromosomes and how and why they behave differently if they're on the same chromosome or if they're on a different chromosome. Once you've got that in your head, then inheritance isn't easy, but it becomes a lot more straightforward. So I'm going to do some fairly simple inheritance stuff tomorrow, and then I'm going to do some more complex inheritance stuff on Wednesday. So then my proposed plan was some gene pools, a bit of Hardy-Weinberg and evolution and speciation. And then I'm going to roll into some gene technology, some of that recombinant DNA, inserting target genes, isolating target genes, a bit of PCR, electrophoresis, control of gene expression, and then either DNA profiling, genetic fingerprinting. These are the core options that sit at the end of the spec. Anything there will be, okay, so if you look, we're going to intersperse basically some content with then some exam practice, and then some more content and some exam practice. I'm missing one here that needs editing. So you'll see that this document will get updated, and that's why I'm doing this session. I just want to see if I've missed any of those major things that you've all consistently say, I really need to work on this. But I think I've got anyone seeing anything in there that they either don't want to do or that is missing? An action hour is basically a study session. I'll go into that in more detail, but it's a study session where you write down a very specific task of what you're going to do. It's going to require active recall, and you're going to set a timer for 45 minutes, and then you're going to do that timer with no distractions in 45 minutes. Your timer is going to go off. Then at the end of the timer, you then take a 15-minute break to round you up to the hour, and then you start another one. So nervous system, kidneys, action potentials. We're going to try and keep to a regular routine. You can obviously, if you want to do more work on the weekends, but like from experience, then keeping a routine is going to be really important, I think, during this time. So we're going to work with you Monday to Friday. Okay, so this is the immediate first 2 weeks. You can then see we've got some respiration, some photosynthesis. So going back to the beginning and recapping some of that. Then we've got receptors, some nervous coordination, muscles, and ecosystems. Got some homeostasis. I saw some questions, where is homeostasis? So homeostasis down here. This second homeostasis session, I've put Edexcel crossed out. This is going to be control of blood glucose. It's going to be control of not body temperature. Edexcel do body temperature. What else do I need to do? Kidneys. Yeah. So water potential of the blood. Edexcel don't do it, so I just put Edexcel crossed out there. And then I'm going to do some, basically a session for AQA, a session for OCR, and a session for Edexcel. So you can come and drop in if there's anything that's specific to your specs, and we can do that. Ecosystems is here. Respiration, photosynthesis is up here. Cloning and biotechnology is OCR only, so that could be something that we do in this session here. What I'll probably do is put a poll up for OCR students to vote on which topics they want to do in their specific session here. Okay, so that's the general structure. Mixture of topics to complete. These, in my opinion, are the ones that you're going to need to most help to finish. And then we're going to start moving into the TT revision method, which is going to loop back through all the different topics and keep you fresh. And then I'm going to basically do some content exam. Patent inheritance. So all the inheritance stuff is here. So you can download this again. I can show you from within. Zoom out of that. Within the course, you can download this PDF. There's a scrappy video from Ronnie explaining how to use it, which we're going to tidy up at some point. You can download it from underneath. So you can download this. As I said, keep checking back. It will probably get updated relatively often because I put this together this afternoon and now we're running live with it. Okay, seems like everyone's vaguely on board with the structure. You're going to get, well, all those live sessions from us. The rest of this, I wouldn't worry about too much for right now. We are going to be talking you through that. These all relate to the individual papers. These are our Markside drop sheet. This is when you're actually in the TT revision method, which is the revision method that we use to shows massive grade improvement. Basically, these are all specific to the paper. So for the AQA AS paper 1 2015, this will link you into our course, and you can obviously go and explore our courses if you want to at that point. These are the question 1, these are the topics for question 1, and it's a tally sheet of where do you drop your marks. So for this question, again, this is a link, it will take you into the exam guide. FFS is those just stupid mistakes, like, oh, I can't believe it, I made that, I forgot to, it said give it to 3 sig fig and I didn't do that. So these are like just those silly things, silly mistakes, basically, that it's not content knowledge, it's not exam technique that you're missing. This is if you're lacking content knowledge. And obviously this question was on a range of different things. So if you can basically tally up, oh, was it that I just didn't know about self-fractionation? This is an AQA paper, so self-fractionation isn't part of the OCR and Excel spec. You can tally up. If you're just lacking content knowledge, your tallies for drop marks goes in here. And if it's exam technique that you didn't know or that you need to practice on, then you tally it in here. And then you can plan your action hours, your revision action hours. You can plan them in here. So that's basically a little foresight as to what's coming. These buttons will just take you into my content guide. If you do want to go have a little look in there, there is some previewable content that you guys can get stuck in. That's probably, again, all going to change in the next week or so, depending on how we use these live classes. We might support these live classes with some of our content guide videos and make them previewable to you. I haven't really decided yet. It's all, everything's new. Okay, I'd say in a nutshell, that's what we're doing. Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. for A-level content, 10 a.m. for AS content. Okay, essays as well. It's all in the course. Like if you're desperate to learn this stuff and you're really going to, it's in the essay stuff's as a general rule, if there's stuff that you really want, if you decide you're going to do that exam, just get the subscription and just go knock yourself out. It's a monthly price, and you can binge as many hours as you want whilst you're in lockdown. There's no limit to the number of hours. I'm going to do one session for AQA stuff, especially if the vote is to do exam essay planning stuff in that, I'll happily do it. But obviously, I'm going to probably have the one session on the essay or the AQA specialist stuff. So yeah, there is an opportunity to do that. But if you're desperate for anything, it's either in the content guide or it's in the exam guide. Go check it out from there. Suggested action hours. We will be doing that. We're going to be doing some past papers with you. I don't know. It has so many ideas over the last couple of days. I think what we might do, another thing, just give me a yes or a no as to whether you're interested in this. I think we are going to try and organize a TT mock exam for you to do the exams, probably around about the time when you would have had your exams, possibly on the same days that you would have had your exams. Would you be interested in doing a mock with us? You can say no. I'd just be interested. It's like we would either put a paper together or we might use the 2019 papers. Some of you obviously will have seen the 2019s. Then we would probably release it and then do it time conditions starting on the time when we release it. And then we'd get you to, I don't know how we would do it, probably make it anonymous so there's no names on it. And then maybe you mark your own and maybe you mark someone else's. Would you be prepared to basically write one exam, one paper one, mark your own and mark somebody else's? And if everyone else marks yours, you could then see whether your mark and their mark were to be roughly the same. I have no idea. I have no idea how we coordinate it. It's just an idea right now. We might be able to, I don't know. It would also depend on how many students. If we had 100, it'd be quite easy for us to manage. If we had 1,000, it would be more difficult. If we had 10,000, even more difficult. I would like to try and get as many people with us doing these sessions as possible, just so that we know that students are getting decent quality coverage. Yeah, and then after each one, we could then look at our people's MID sheets and see where common errors are, and then I can give suggested action hours to go working on those, and then you can go do them as well. Okay. Can your school use it as evidence? My opinion, for what it's worth, is I think they have decided what they are going to use to base your grade on. They are going to use your previous exam performances, so GCSEs, maybe even SATs, because when you, as I was saying the other day on YouTube, you get, before you sit your A-levels, you've done all of your SATs and you've done your GCSEs and everything. There is a predicted, basically, it looks at you and all of your educational background and it predicts what you're going to get in your A-levels. And that's sort of predetermined. And then some teachers or some schools can sort of add, or that gives you a line basically. And some teachers get a value add on top of that. Their ALICE or their ALPS score is going to get, say on average, a student gets on average like 0.6 grades above their predicted grade based on that. And that's how most schools and teachers are actually sort of assessed, as like, student that came in was most likely to get this, and they on average get half a grade above that. That gives you an indication on how well that school is actually teaching them, because it takes into account all the educational background and socioeconomic group, does a lot of things. So I think a lot of that will be predetermined. Plus your teacher's going to be able to give it some wiggle room, because maybe you have been working super hard and that you have shown more improvement than that predicted grade would give you. That I don't think they're going to really accept any kind of student submitted evidence. Yeah, but I mean, basically it's like it's a standard thing that is in operation already. Okay, next question. Okay, if you're one of our subscribers, we are going to bundle it in with the content guide, with the exam guide and the ultimate guides. Literally, it was finished 2 hours ago. I'll get that done before I go to bed. You just have to, if you want to add it instantly, you can go to the Tailored Tutors homepage. On the homepage at the top, there's a white box. You can click on the button, and then you can enroll in the Exambulance, biology Exambulance from there. There's only one. We've put all the OCR, all the EdXL, all the AQA, all the AS, all the A level. It's all in one course. There's no additional links. I don't understand the question. What are we doing at the Action Hour week? I don't understand. Yes, it's similar to the How to Revise course, but we've basically taken all, well, we were going to make a course, an upgraded version of the How to Revise course. And now we're basically converting that into a study at home course. I mean, obviously, as a company that has all of the A-level content, all of the AS content for all the basic major exam boards covered in all the exam technique side of things covered, like we're pretty well set up to do that. So yeah, basically it's going to help structure it. In the Exambulance schedule, it says paper to 2017. Yeah, so you'll do the paper, closed book time conditions, and then you'll mark it, analyze it using the mark-side drop sheets. You're going to be doing the TT method. Then you're going to be, when you found your weaknesses, if you found that you're really weak at translocation or mass transport in plants, and you're really weak at graph analysis questions, and then you can go do your action hours and either use our courses or use your textbook, or you can use whatever resources you want to go and improve those things. And then we're going to do some feedback at the end of the week. Don't rub my eyes. I've actually, oh, my camera has lost focus on me. I've been in isolation now for, nobody has been in or out of this house. So, I mean, you're right, but as far as I'm aware, work camera. What's going on here? Let me just come up. Oh, it's back in focus again. Yeah, you're quite right. It is. But my hands were washed immediately before this live, and I also, as I said, this house has been thoroughly cleaned. Yeah, let your teachers know. I would say if you can get in touch with your teachers and let them know that this exists. If schools want to get in touch with us, we're actually, we always have actually given our content guide to schools who sign up with it. So it's totally free. What we do with schools is we just ask for a donation at the end of the year, and that funds our scholarship students who get the course for free. So we don't make any money from the donations that get given. We give it to schools for free. Their students or schools give us a donation of whatever they want. It's voluntary. Don't have to give us anything. And that money goes to fund our scholarships, academic scholarships for students from, well, they're given out on various different bases, but generally it's people who can't afford the courses. Oh, I'm not living any life in Australia, to be perfectly honest with you. I ran away from Bali, and I've been working all the hours that I've been awake since. Okay, so I think you're pretty happy with the inheritance. We're going to stick in. We'll stick with that schedule. If you have any crazy ideas that you think would be really valuable, then let me know. We're in a state of basically, well, everything's all changed for you just as it is for us, right? It's had a pretty major impact on us, and it's obviously had a big impact on you guys as well. So we just want to help support each other as much as we can right now. So yeah, now I promise basically the rest of the sessions I'm just going to teach you. Like this is quite an unusual session. I just wanted to make sure that the stuff that I had on my list to go through with you is the right stuff. Okay, I said I'd take general questions at the end. Any questions about what's going on with the A level? I mean, obviously, if you're watching the recording of this date today, God, I don't even know the date. I've had my head. What's the day? 23rd, is it today? I think it's the 23rd. So information is changing on an hourly basis. Yeah. Yeah, today's sessions, as I said, in general, these sessions, we're just going to teach you content. We're going to be going through creating your notes, making sure you've finished all the topics as best we can. Today's sessions, we're going to just try and get a handle on what it is you most need to know. I think we haven't coordinated very much. That was the only discussion that Rich, Ronnie, and I had, was that let's figure out exactly how we can be most helpful. Yeah, I think chemistry 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Correct. Yeah. Maths is 12 p.m., 1 p.m. No, is that right? Where's the schedule? This is how new everything is right now, to be perfectly honest with you. It will check out the YouTube lives are all scheduled. Just check out the Taylor Tutors YouTube channel. The upcoming lives are all scheduled. The times will be right. So follow those. And Russ said, of course you don't. They're there for you to use if you want. You can do as much of it or as little of it as you want. Corona in Australia, the actual state of the infection, nobody knows. Testing is not a good indication of the state of where the infection is at. They are basically only testing people with symptoms in hospitals. I know, in fact, yeah, I know a few people with it at home. They've not been, they have it for sure. They are feeling terrible. They are young people as well. They are not old. They say it's pretty horrible. Some people are asymptomatic. Some people get it pretty damn badly. And the number of confirmed cases is so far off what's actually the case right now. There were something like 20,000 people on Bondi Beach the other day. They've closed the beach now. Okay, I don't see anything too much. Yeah, so today's sessions are there's not gonna be too much content today's sessions, I don't think, from Ronnie or from Rich. I had hoped to try and get some teaching in, but really, I wasn't well enough planned. Basically, I didn't have enough stuff ready because I didn't get everything ready in time because I've been working all day trying to finish all the documents and build the course and put the links in, and there's still going to be messes and stuff in there. So just be a bit tolerant with us right now. Okay. Can I show you how to use the Exambulance account? So sign in, get yourself set up. Oh, the one thing I would like you to do, which is a bit of homework I set for the AS students. Let me just scroll down here. I'm going to leave you with this, actually. This is going to be my parting. This is in the description, and I'll show you through it. So you've got in the documents and downloads in the description, this is just the YouTube live description. It just hit 17,000 subscribers. Keep subscribing, folks. I want to get that number over 20 grand. So pick your exam board. These documents will be exam board specific. I was going to get onto these papers, but I was going to try and cover some content, but I'll save them for tomorrow. Don't worry. I'm going to be going quite quickly tomorrow. Just FYI, I'm going to be going quite quickly. So in here, I picked the AQA one. You've got the spec here. So the AQA spec, you've also got, these are documents from AQA themselves. The MID sheets are going to be in the Exambulance. You don't have to worry about this middle column. And these are documents that I've put together. So you've got the AS cheat sheet, the A-level cheat sheet for AQA, you've got the command words, the AQA, what they mean. You've got the annotation and abbreviation, so which notations you can use on the exam. But the one I'd like you to download is the spec. So everyone's got a digital copy of the spec. If you've got a printer, print it out. If you don't, then you edit the PDF somehow. You can get a free PDF readers. You just work out what you have done and how confident you are on it, and what you haven't done and how confident you are. So literally every single spec point, tick, 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 if you've done it, and then give yourself a little score out of 10 for the section, how confident you feel on that section. And then if you come across any sort of realizations, oh, I totally forgot that I hadn't done any of that stuff because I was on holiday and I missed that week from school, then it's going to mean that if you'll be aware of what you've got in front of you and what you need to revise, basically. Okay, that's going to be basically it for today. Yeah, obviously if you do WJ, if you do download your copy of the spec, whatever it is, as I said, I'm going to be keeping this as useful for everyone as I can. Inheritance tomorrow at 11 a.m. You can do meiosis, which underpins all of the inheritance at 10 a.m. Obviously, please like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, because we are, well, I mean, we are here to help, and the more students that know about it, the better. We're going to try and keep strictly to time. So I've already overrun by a few minutes, but you have a few minutes to chill out and decompress. And yeah, I will leave you with that, and I'll see you tomorrow, either 10 a.m. or I'll see you at 11 a.m. Until then.